Oh, it's the next episode. I'm so excited to talk to you about what we're gonna do today. Hey guys, my name is Dina Marie Rodriguez, and welcome to the next installation in three-part series of Women of Illustration, a brand new web series helping women to be heard, make art, and get paid. Today, I'm so excited to introduce to you our very next artist that you will be able to see and learn from over the next 3 episodes, and her name is Samantha Lopez. Samantha is a Californian, born and raised, and is currently in Los Angeles. She has such a cute, bubbly personality, which definitely shows through in all of her really cool, whimsical illustrations. She currently works full-time as a designer over at Honey, which is a creative agency that specializes in creating designs for the food and beverage industry. In this first episode with Samantha, we're going to be talking about how do we create our own opportunities as women. It's all about the opportunity. How can we be able to be more visible in the art industry? This goes above just getting client work and maybe just putting yourself on social media, but how do we truly start to involve ourselves in the community we so desperately want to be a part of? How do we talk to people? How do we talk about ourselves? How do we get featured on podcasts like mine? And how do we just establish ourselves more in the art industry, not only as an artist, but as an authority? So we're going to get into all different kinds of stuff from both my perspective and Samantha's. We both kind of had a completely different background and way of getting what we want in the art industry, and I'm so excited to share it with you guys. Are you ready? Let's go!
Hey, I'm Samantha. I'm an illustrator and designer from Los Angeles, California.
Oh yeah, living in the LA. I feel like that's where all the cool designers hang out. Like they're in that little like penis-shaped state in the United States. It's like it's either one penis shape or another. It's like Florida or California.
Yeah,
You got the big
yeah,
dick and you got the little dick, and and that's where the cool people hang out.
that's where
So
we're at.
how long have you lived in LA?
I grew up in LA.
Oh
I've like
really? Born
never,
and
yeah,
raised.
born and raised in the San Fernando Valley. But yeah, just started working downtown LA, so it's like a whole different experience for sure.
Oh, so
But
it got cooler, right? Because
yeah,
downtown's
definitely
even cooler. Okay.
so much cooler living in a really awesome area in Echo Park. I don't know if you've ever been to Echo
I've
Park,
I've
but
heard of Echo Park from movies and
it's
stuff.
the best. I love it. I moved here a few months ago and I'm like, it's just such a cool place to live. Yeah, I don't think I could ever leave LA. I think that's what it is. I don't think
So with living in LA, like, so what's your deal? Like, or do you
it's
do
a
freelance?
deal.
Do you have a day job?
Okay, so I have a day job now that I just started 7 months ago. I work for Honey, which has been an amazing experience overall. And I kind of do freelance work on the side, but I've kind of like put a pause on that because I was just felt like extremely overworked. And I'm just like trying to find that balance of, like work life and then coming home and like making stuff for myself rather than
Mm,
doing freelance work because I just felt so burnt out by the end of the year. So my whole goal for like this up and coming year is to just do more work for myself.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, the work I do for my day job is like a lot of fun too. So I can't, it's not like terrible where I'm like, oh, I just can't do it anymore. But
Yeah, but
uh,
still, like being creative all day at a day job and then trying to be creative
yeah,
at home, like that's really difficult. And I think,
yeah,
especially, I mean, from my experience, because I was a designer, got turned into an illustrator to the dark
mhm.
side. And that's how a lot of other people are, either whether or not they're
Mhm.
designers and they're just dabbling in drawing
Mhm.
or lettering or whatever,
Yeah,
or they're just like, hey, I actually do want to make this switch because I feel like I want to be more creative versus graphic design, which is more of like you're piecing existing elements together versus
yeah.
creating your own artwork. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I always think that transition's kind of interesting. So with that being said, like the whole like overarching episodes, because we're gonna do 3 episodes with Samantha here, all about just creating opportunities for yourself and just how to be an independent woman in
Mhm.
illustration. Because I think a lot of people are like, it's always the same questions, right? When you talk about freelance or a day job, like, how did you do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, are you made
Well,
out of magic? Like,
yeah.
what happened? Like, did someone, like, do people find you? Do you have to find them?
Mhm.
Is it all about networking? And I think
Mhm.
everyone has different options. So if you could
Mhm.
give a nugget of advice, what do you think is most important with trying to find an opportunity for yourself? Do you think it's all about creating work and attracting people? Or do you
Mhm.
think you actually do have to reach out?
I really, I personally think it's about creating the work and people are going to find you because I feel like most of the illustrators that I have found and like adore and kind of inspired my route to illustration, I found just like naturally like on Instagram or Pinterest, and I was just immediately attracted to their work and I just wanted to see their process, like what they were posting every other day. Like I just looked forward to seeing that rather than I don't know, it just like it never seemed like forced that they were like trying to get my attention. They were just putting work out there and I just really appreciate it. And I just could see their like followers like growing and growing.
Mm-hmm.
And once I saw that kind of process, I was like, okay, that's what I need to do for my own work.
Yeah. It's so
Yeah.
interesting because, like, for the most part, when you want to do freelance, I would
Mm-hmm.
probably, like, in my personal opinion, I think it's all about attracting the right clients. Like you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, you really want to do more things for yourself. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the best way to actually get noticed because when you're being true to yourself, you're actually paying attention to what your voice is and what you
Mm-hmm.
actually have to say as an artist. And I
Yeah.
feel like when you come from a design background, it's so hard to separate what you think everyone else wants you to do versus what you
Mm-hmm.
actually want to do. And
Yeah.
it's that like your perception and how you perceive the world is what people are going to be attracted to because if you could do that for yourself, they want you to do that for their business so you can
Mm-hmm.
make them money so that they don't seem like fake assholes, right?
Yeah. No, that's so true.
But a day job, however, that's the opposite. Like, yes,
Yeah.
can someone find you and magically offer you a job position or a
Mm-hmm.
headhunter? Yeah, but for the
Yeah.
most part, you got to apply for that shit.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite job that you've had so far that was a day job and your least favorite job as a day job?
Least favorite job? Okay, so this my current day job is like my first day job out of school.
Oh, I
So
see.
yeah,
Ooh, okay.
yeah.
She's
So
like, this is
I just
both.
yeah, this is everything. This is everything. So yeah, I really don't have much to compare it to. So but right after I graduated from school, I did freelance work for about half a year.
Mhm.
And then I was actually found by this company to start working there. So
Oh, you
yeah.
lucky
Yeah,
bitch.
I know that's why I'm like
You're like, oh, what is it like to work for things? That's fucking
so much.
hilarious. Yeah, it's been so long since I've had a day job. I don't even like. How did I do that? I don't
You're
even
just like,
remember.
what?
Yeah. Okay. So for those of you who are like, "Fuck you, Samantha," I hate you so much. Okay. So what happened with me? Like, I don't know. But I think all my day jobs, me personally, have sucked. Sorry
Mhm.
if you owned me at one
It's
point.
okay.
Like people who have maybe employed me. Thank you so much for the money. I hated you.
Appreciate it.
Mostly because I think I have like a really bad issue with authority.
Mhm.
And I've always wanted to like do my own thing. And especially like when you spend your life going to school, you're in debt for like, 100 G's or whatever. No big deal.
Mhm. No big deal. It's okay.
And you accrued all this information and then you go to a day job and they don't let you utilize that information. There's nothing
Mhm.
more disheartening than that. And
Mhm.
I definitely see the difference between like being cocky or confident, but
Mhm.
in certain situations when you're not even allowed to be heard at a workplace,
Yeah.
that's where I think it's really destructive.
Mhm.
And with I think there's an exception to like maybe one or two jobs.
Mhm.
For the most part, I had a really hard time being like taken seriously in a lot of my jobs, and I
Okay.
never really figured out why that was. Like, what
Mhm.
was it because I was like green out of school? Didn't have to do with the fact that I have a vagina. I don't know. Just gonna put it out there.
Just saying.
All my bosses were dudes.
Mhm.
Why was that?
Mhm.
um, so I think it's like you really just have to present your best self, really, but
Mhm.
you want to be true to yourself. Like I think resumes are kind of bullshit for the most
Yeah,
part, especially
I
when you
agree.
like list your special skills. Like that's such an embarrassing thing to do. Like
That's
I'm
so
good with
bad.
people and I know Microsoft Word, and it's just I don't know how this is helpful.
But I'm gonna put it out there.
Yeah. Then you like try to like list your past experiences and make them seem cooler than they were.
Yeah,
Like you didn't just
exactly.
hate every other fucking
Yeah.
place you've ever worked, and you're just like, please, I want to work for you, but I'll probably stop caring in 3 weeks once I get used to you. It's like a whole thing. I'm never gonna
Yeah.
get hired ever
You're
again.
just like, okay.
I just don't. I like nowadays, especially living in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
There's places that have taken more time to think about their company culture,
Mhm.
to be more respectful to employees, to hear
Yeah.
everybody out. Like I love places like the first thing that comes to my head is like things like Buffer. It's this really great application that you can use to like schedule all your social media posts.
Mm.
And I just really like that company because, first of all, they treat their employees amazing. Everyone
Yeah,
works from home. They
that's
give
amazing.
everyone paid time off. There's a company retreat once a
Hmm.
year in all these really
Hmm.
beautiful places. They give you a stipend for like a Kindle book and they want you to read as much as
Oh, that's
possible.
awesome.
Everyone has an opinion. Everyone can go to a board meeting and
Yeah.
talk about, even if it's a secretary, if there's even secretaries anymore, or if they're just like a customer support person versus like a developer, they could probably
Yeah.
share ideas freely and not feel like, oh, but I don't know anything about this. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Which I like how the culture is growing to a point where like we're starting to notice that everyone can be creative,
Hmm.
and it's not just the ones that know how to code or draw that are within that little creative bubble, which is
Yeah.
really exciting.
I like that.
So I think as like a tidbit advice, if you're trying to find a day job, I mean,
Hmm.
we're talking about how you were able to get a day job for
Yeah.
yourself, but
Mhm.
for people who have to look for it, I think it's all about just trying to think, just don't settle
Yeah.
for what you think people's expectations are. Like, oh, everyone
Mhm.
else is just giving them a resume, so I'll do that.
Yeah.
Or everyone else is just doing like a, one paragraph cover letter and then they're going to send them a PDF. Like you have to really think outside the box. You either have
Yeah.
to cater your work to that exact thing. Like,
Hmm.
especially in school, I'm sure like you have to be a jack of all trades because you're
Hmm.
figuring out what you want to specialize in. So
Yeah.
giving like you're a branding
Hmm.
person. I'm trying to think of the better name. You're a branding
Yeah.
person. You're the branding lady. Cha
The
cha.
branding lady.
You're at Honey. And if you're applying for a brand position, you should probably only present branding
Branding
projects.
work.
Like no one's
Hmm.
gonna want to see your like t-shirt designs or that one really weird banner graphic you did for that website. Like
Yeah.
it's just not they want it to be relatable. So I think if you
Exactly.
cater to what that person's actually looking for, you're going to do a lot better. And I
Hmm.
think people just when they typically look for projects, they're just like, "Oh, Indeed, I'm going to mass submit all of my
Yeah.
resume and then oh, no one fucking replied back. That's weird." You know what I
That's
mean?
weird.
I think. So, what do you think was the key element to Honey finding you?
I think okay, so they found me on Dribble, which Dribble, I love Dribble a
Yeah,
lot.
Dribble's cool. I like it too.
I really love Dribble, but I was like really obsessed with Dribble. Like right after I got into school, as soon as I got that invite, I was like on it. And just like posting just a variety of different stuff on there that I didn't have like on my portfolio site. It was more like works in progress, just random projects I just made really quick. I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna upload this just for fun.
Hmm.
And I think they saw just the ability of like my skills and just the different stuff I can make rather than me just like putting like my best pieces like on showcase in my portfolio site. Like they could see like, oh, she also does this other stuff and like she could bring that value to the company. I mean, I'm speaking for the people that hired
I
me,
mean, I
but
think
I just feel
you can
like
kind of guess, right?
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
did they tell you in the interview like, "Oh, we found you from Dribble"? At least you know that
Yeah, they
much.
found
Okay.
me on Dribble. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, okay, that's cool because it's not, I mean, they're just a representation of like me and like my interests. So I think they got a good idea of like who I was as a person when I was going in there,
Hmm.
instead of just seeing like a portfolio site and a resume. I
Yeah,
think
that's
they got a
important. Yeah,
feel
that's
for
something
me.
I didn't really necessarily think about. Like it's
Hmm.
like when you have to work with someone day to day, like yeah, if they can do their job, that'll make you
Hmm.
doing your job easier. But if they're also
Hmm.
like kind of cool to hang out with, that's an extra
Exactly.
plus. Because I
Yeah.
don't know about you, but I've definitely had like a work nemesis before.
Hmm.
Someone like,
I don't have,
oh yeah, it's your first job, you'll get one eventually. Um, where it's just like there's just like you and this other person, you just bump heads
yeah.
for I don't know reasons. I think it's more just like
Hmm.
you have a work wife and then you have a work nemesis. I think it's similar. Like you don't actually
Work
hate this person,
nemesis.
but like maybe you're like competing to get a a raise or a
Yeah.
promotion, or maybe
Hmm.
you just I don't know something else.
Hmm.
So with that being said, like you have to really as a boss who's like doing the interviewing process, you have to
Hmm.
kind of foresee that because you obviously don't want that to happen within your team because it's
Yeah.
not going to make for a very productive team.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think the best advice, like another like little tidbit, is just really try to show off your personality within your work, no matter what it is, right? Like
Exactly.
lettering, illustration, graphic design. I don't know. You make things out of beads, whatever your fucking
Yeah.
shit is. Just try to stop looking at what everyone else is doing and what you think other
Hmm.
people are gonna like, and just do
Hmm.
something for yourself. Because
Exactly.
although we're very unique butterflies and snowflakes, other people are probably gonna like the things that you like too and
Yeah.
relate to that and like you because of it,
Hmm.
right?
Exactly.
jobs aside, have you ever like gone on a limb to like get an opportunity for yourself? Like
Yes.
to get featured on a blog post? I mean, you obviously applied. Did you apply? Yeah, you applied for to be on this show, right?
I
Yeah.
did.
Did you? Was that the first time you ever applied to be on anything before, or have you done that
Yeah,
before?
it really has been. That was like my first time doing it, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
so happy I did. Yeah, I think I just as soon as I saw it, like what you were doing, I was like, okay, this is like just a really good chance for me to like put myself out there in like a totally different way. And yeah, it's been awesome.
Cool. See,
Yeah.
it's so funny because I mean, how many times do we see things like that on like
Hmm.
Twitter or Instagram or Dribble where someone's like, "Hey, I'm looking for people to interview for my
Hmm.
podcast. Hey,
Hmm.
speakers, now we're now looking for speakers at this conference
Hmm.
or whatever it is," and you see it and you're like, "Oh, I'll apply for that." You might like add it to your to-do list, but you like never
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And
Or you just like, I don't know, I feel like I kind of like doubt, like, oh, they're not going to be interested in talking to me, or like I'm not like important enough to be talked
totally.
to, you know?
I mean, I think it's so important, especially for women, to go ahead
Mhm.
and create those opportunities for themselves because a lot of these other, because I went through this phase of like calling out
Mhm.
podcasts for not having enough women on them. And they didn't like that. It was
I
weird.
didn't like
They're like
it.
immediately like instead of like coming back with like a nice answer, because I would just be like, hey,
Yeah.
I looked at your podcast and I saw that only like 10% of your guests are women. Why is that? Right? Not
Mhm.
attacking you. Not nothing.
Yeah.
Just pointing at.
Just,
Oh,
just
I
saying.
don't appreciate that you're trolling me right now. I'm like, oh fuck, you did not take. Okay, well, okay.
Oh,
Now we're gonna have a dialogue because there's
yeah,
something wrong here. The fact that you think that I'm attacking you for that.
exactly. If you're
Um,
getting like offended.
yeah. And from when I did this, when I went through this phase that wasn't that
Yeah.
long ago, the number one thing they
Mhm.
said was, "Well, no women contact us, so we have nowhere to." Which I don't think they're lying about it. I think
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
yeah, and I think the whole feminist thing. It's not so much about like men putting us
Hmm.
down; it's that we're afraid to rise up a little bit. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
So and it's sad because who are the women that you see on podcasts? It's like the same five fucking
Yeah.
badass ladies.
Yeah.
Like I've heard Jessica Hitch's story like so many times. You know what I mean?
And
And
it's
it's
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
like love you, Jessica, but like I
Yeah.
would love to hear different points of view. And
Exactly.
it sucks because all these other women's voices are being buried because they're not rising
Hmm.
up. So I definitely think that hey, if there's a podcast you want to be on, if there's a conference you want to speak at, even if you feel like you're not good enough to do any of those things,
Yeah.
try anyways because the worst thing that anyone can say to you is no,
Exactly.
right? And if they say no,
Hmm.
like it's cool. Maybe next year you ask and they say yes because they actually
Yeah.
remember you that you tried last year.
Hmm.
It's like there's nothing like and it's via email. It's not like you're wasting your time or
Exactly.
going
Or
to a
like,
coffee shop and you gotta drive to that person to get rejected. It's just you know what I mean. It's pretty easy.
yeah, you just
Yeah,
usually just like putting yourself out there, and you'd like you never know what's gonna come from it, you know? So
totally.
it's always worth it. I feel like, there's
Hmm.
nothing bad that's gonna happen.
Exactly. And I think that I like saying like the worst thing anyone can say is no is definitely like one of my mantras. I take
Hmm.
it like when I go out in public and I talk to people and like
Hmm.
a lot of my friends aren't as outgoing as I. And they're like,
Hmm.
"What are you doing?" I'm like, literally, the worst thing they could be is like, "Fuck you and die away from me." And I'll be like, "Oh, okay, cool.
Cool.
Don't have to
Yeah.
waste my time talking to you, asshole. Sweet, next person."
Yeah.
Or like, if you're selling products and you want to be featured in a couple storefronts, you can
Hmm.
ask. Maybe they don't have any availability. You can
Yeah.
get put on a list, and maybe they would. But you
Yeah.
don't know unless you try, and it's just so
Exactly.
infuriating when there's so many fucking cool ass talented people out there, but we don't
Yeah.
know about them, right?
Exactly.
That's the whole
Yeah.
reason I started this fucking web series.
Yes, I'm so glad you did.
Yeah,
I've like
yeah.
seriously found so many awesome illustrators just from you like reposting their work and stuff. So I'm like so thankful for that too, because it's really cool to just see all these
Yeah,
new, or like not new, they're out there, it's just you're like giving them exposure, which is amazing.
totally. Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. And that being said, so there is a Women of Illustration Instagram, guys. Please use the Women of Illustration hashtag because not that many people use it because we're, obviously new. So if you just tag me or something, I'll know who you are and then I can find your work and I can post it. Because there are
Mhm.
days where I'm really having to search hashtags to like find work because I'm not getting enough work being sent to me. And that
Yeah.
sucks. Like make my job easier. And that's literally the mindset of any other person who creates content.
Mhm.
anyone who does an interview-based web show or fucking podcast or, you know, all these blogs, like, need people to talk about. Like, content is, I think, such an important key in being a self-fulfilling artist, right? Like, you have to be, it's the best way to
Mhm.
market yourself. So if other people don't know
Yeah.
about you, it's kind of hard for them to find you. Let's talk, let's switch gears. Let's talk about
Yeah.
freelance. So what kind of freelance opportunities have you gotten?
So let's see. So I do. Ah, I'm sorry. I'm like all over the place.
Oh.
But
I had water in my mouth. I was like, "You're fine." That was me going like, "It's cool."
Okay. So when I first got out of school, my professor actually put me in contact with Hoodspah Design.
It's
So yeah, Hoodspah. Shout out to Hoodspah. Amy and Jen are the best. So I was a junior designer for them, and I was working remotely because they're based out of Newport Beach.
mm,
And I was doing work for them as a junior designer, so taking on work that from projects they had, like we're getting as freelance work,
yeah.
you know. And then it came to a point where they were like getting a lot of requests for work, and they just like couldn't take it. Um, and our styles kind of were very similar, so they just began sending like those clients over to me, and so that's how I kind of acquired my freelance like clients.
Oh, okay,
And
cool.
yeah, which was amazing because we already have a similar style, so they kind of had an idea of like what to expect out of my work, which
Mm-hmm.
was great. um but yeah, I did a lot of branding, I did a few logos. I got a lot of merchandise projects out of that, which I think is probably my favorite freelance
Yeah.
project to do, is like t-shirt designs, banners, stickers. Um, but yeah, my like most badass freelance project was doing merchandise design for the band Joseph. They're
Mm-hmm.
from Portland, Oregon. Um, yeah, that was like the coolest project I ever did. So
That's
that's why I'm like,
awesome.
yeah, those are like my favorite projects to do because it's just, I don't know, I just love seeing like the physical product being made and like worn everywhere. It's
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that opportunity present itself? Like, did they find you on Dribble or something, and they're like, "Hey, we need help," or?
I think they contacted Hoodspah first, and Hoodspah couldn't take them, and they gave them like a list of artists that were kind of similar to their
Oh, a
style. And I think
list.
I was on there, and then they contacted me
Yeah.
from that list.
Well,
Yeah.
how did you get hooked up with Chutzpah in the first place, though?
Okay, so my professor at the school I went to, Cal State Northridge, shout out, go Matadors. I'm just kidding. I had no school spirit, so I'm kind of like, whatever. He is a freelance, he has his own business, and he was just like the coolest professor I could have ever asked for. He just gave us so many opportunities to connect with really talented people. He would like take us to Agenda trade show in like Long Beach, and would just get awesome speakers to come like via Skype and like just talk to our class. Something that like a lot of professors at our school just like weren't doing.
Yeah.
And he, I don't know how he got connected with Hutzpah, but he wanted them to come talk to our class, and they just like couldn't make it down there. And so I think we went to one of their Connecting Things events
Mm-hmm.
in Orange County, and he was like, "Sam, this is your opportunity to like talk to them." And so I was like, "Okay," like I was like, "This is." I was so nervous, and I had made these like little booklets with my art. I like made little like
Nice.
zines, a
Leave
little like
behinds. I
zine.
like
Yeah,
it.
exactly. I made like a little zine with like some of my artwork that I had been making, not even like my graphic design stuff. It was my illustration stuff that like I just did for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I like gave one to like Jen and Amy, like not even thinking anything. I was like so nervous. I was like, "Oh, like here guys, like this is for you." And they contacted me like as soon as I graduated, they contacted me like I was in New York, and celebrating like my graduation, and I got an email from them, and I was like, "Are you serious?" Like I was like freaking out. It was the coolest thing ever.
Oh man, see, a lot of
Yeah.
ticks in your corner. Okay, so guys,
Yeah.
did you hear her say those things? Okay, so you connected with your professor and
Yes.
used some networking skills, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
people like in the creative community, especially, we want to help each other.
Yeah.
Like I don't think. Depending on what kind of school you go to, especially if you
Mm-hmm.
grow up in graphic design, it does get kind of crazy competitive. I know,
Yeah.
especially it was for me at Full Sail because it's such a fucking amazing hardcore school. We were all like, "No, fuck you, no, fuck you."
Oh, yeah.
It's like, "I'm better at Photoshop, no, fuck you. I know Illustrate's vector. That shit's lossless," and just Yeah, like we got into like little like illustration battles in college. Okay. But okay, so you got connected with your professor. You actually took the time to make a leave behind of some kind, showing off the exact kind of work that Chutzpah probably was looking for, which is going to already put you above other people that they're talking to. Yeah. And then you actually approach them, talk to them, right? One-on-one. That's helpful. It's easier to remember a face when you're actually looking at said face, right? Yes. Versus like just click on a keyboard. You're a stranger. Who the fuck are you? Asking me for a favor. And all those kind of domino effect just kind of lined up, and then they're just like, cool, we like her. Flick. Yeah. We choose. Dominoes go in. Lots of money in your pocket. Yay. Before we completely peace out, is there anything about yourself that you'd like to plug, people to follow you on a certain thing?
Well, you could follow me on Instagram. My username is Samantha Lopez. That's my username for like everything. Also on Twitter. I just post memes on Twitter all day if you're interested in that.
Instant gratification really funny.
Yes.
I like it.
That's all Twitter is for, is for memes. And also on Dribble, I feel like I've been posting a lot more of the stuff I'm doing for Honey, which is really exciting, and I'm really happy to show that. So
cool. Yeah. All right. So before we completely leave all these people, because they're like, wait, I feel like I didn't get enough information, Dina. Dude, we could literally talk about this forever, and you'd still be left to learn. So what do you think is the main thing that people should take away from this episode on how to create opportunities for themselves?
Oh my gosh. Sorry.
The pressure.
The pressure. I think just putting yourself out there, I think, is the most important thing. Don't be afraid to make those connections or be intimidated by people that you think are better than you, are too good for you, because they're usually not. They're just regular people that are just bad at what they're doing, and they're more than happy to share what they know and give back to people because they've been in that position where they don't feel like they're good enough. So you shouldn't be intimidated by anyone for any reason.
Totally. All right, so people, this is what I'm going to give as a homework assignment to the world. Okay, so if there are podcasts you want to be a part of, you want to get featured on blogs, if there are certain freelance clients you'd like to work for, whether that's an agency or a brick and mortar or a larger corporation, make a list. Check it twice. Sorry, Christmas was not that long ago.
That was good.
Right? And like put it out there and then start to reach out to these people. Now, it might seem a little weird depending on how you feel about cold emailing or cold calling, but I think a little light stalking can go a long way. Like if there's a certain art director you want to work for, go on their LinkedIn profile, start to comment and interact with them online. Yeah, in a cool way, not in like, I want to eat your soul. Like, don't be like, oh, you smell better when you're awake. Like, don't be creepy. Just be like, oh, hey, I like this piece that you posted. Or if they ask a question, answer it. So, and do that for like a week or two. And then by the time you actually reach out to them, they recognize you.
They know who you are.
Right? Yeah. And they're not just going to be like, oh, great, another person asking me for a favor that doesn't even fucking know me. Put the work in, bitch. And actually make some effort. And then, provide work that they actually are interested in. Whether that's a zine or it's a PDF version of your portfolio. Or if you want to write a blog article about how X, Y, and Z makes you the perfect candidate to work for this company. Like, that shows initiative and people appreciate it. And all you really have to do is try and see what happens. And again, the worst thing anyone can ever say to you is no. Or fuck you and then no. But either way, it's a no.
But it's okay. It's fine.
And you just move on to the next person on your list. But at least you tried and no regrets, right? Okay. Cool, guys. All right, let's do an awkward wave. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Yes! We did it! First episode with Samantha Lopez is complete. Okay, now next week we're going to be coming back with Samantha, and this time we're going to be talking about how to create your own community. If you guys have been enjoying these episodes, please consider joining our community over at patreon.com/Women of Illustration. That way you guys can get first dibs on any new episodes that come out and exclusive access to live Q&As with the guests. This gives you the opportunity to be able to watch and hang out with both me and the guests and ask as many questions as you want. Also, really big news, we just released our first piece of swag for Women of Illustration. We have these amazing buttons. We got Nasty Artist. We got the Women of Illustration logo. And we have our very awesome tagline. It also looks really cool on hats. Guys, please be sure to visit womenofillustration.com to add these really cool pins to your collection at home. It's time to say bye, 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 bye.